Hey everyone, I'm Hannah, but you might know me better as the outfit repeater, or not, because fashion blogs are kind of dying. But you know, everything has its expiration date. You know, the 80s expired 30 years ago, but I still participate in that. Despite fashion blogging maybe not being as trendy as it used to be, I'm still going to make this video and show you how cool it is and tell you guys about my story of how I got into fashion blogging, the benefits of fashion blogging versus microblogging, and all of that good stuff. So let's get into it. I've always been interested in fashion, but none of my friends like fashion, and that was really hard on me in high school. And so in 2008, I would have been a junior, is when I read my first fashion blog, and I was hooked because it was just another regular girl from a small town posting outfits online. I was like, I want to do that. So in 2009, when I would have been a senior, I started a fashion blog, and back then I called it An Old Story. I named it An Old Story because most of my clothes are thrifted, and I thought, well, they all carry an old story. So at the time it made sense, but as the years wore on, it just got to be a really stupid sounding name. I recognize that now. So my first blog was hosted on blogger.com, and I quickly got into a schedule, like 2 or 3 days a week. I'd post an outfit, and I pretty much did that for the next 5 years. But then around 2014 is when Pinterest came along, and it changed my blog life forever. Suddenly I was introduced to all these different links, and I was learning so much about blogging that I had not learned in 5 years. And so around the end of 2014, I knew that I was ready to take blogging really seriously, and that I wanted to, as they say in the business, rebrand my blog. So I was pretty committed that at the start of 2015 I was going to start over with my blog, start completely fresh. And so I spent the last like 4 or 5 months of 2014 brainstorming a blog name. Spending 4 months trying to name a blog, I can't even imagine trying to name a kid. I have such a weird way of thinking, so I actually wrote down every method that I use, and then I wrote a blog post about naming your blog. So yeah, sometimes I do blog about blogging. That's like the ultimate geek status. Like at the very last minute I came up with the outfit repeater, and thankfully the outfitrepeater.com was available as a domain, so I real quick bought it. And then I decided that I didn't want to use blogger.com anymore, and Pinterest told me that I should use WordPress. Like, you pay for your own hosting, and then you pay for your domain, and you own all your content. I had no idea what any of that meant at the time, but I thought, okay, if that's what you have to do to be professional, I'll do it. Even though I didn't know what I was doing at the time, in hindsight, that was the right thing to do. So along with the name change, I also kind of wanted to change the content. Like, I was really tired of posting outfit posts all the time, and especially the accompanying text with the outfit post. It was always really boring. At the time, I would usually like post this little blurb like, today I went thrifting and I wore this shirt. And that was an entire blog post. And I'm like, who wants to read this? It's so boring. So I knew it was time to switch up my content. So I started poring over fashion magazines and reading so much Pinterest how-to articles and tutorials, and just studying other fashion bloggers, especially big fashion bloggers. Like, how did they get to the top? What are they doing differently than what I was doing? Basically, I found out I have a really uncool life and nobody wanted to read about it. Not even me. I think the thing that kind of clicked in my head was that I didn't want to be a personal blogger. I wanted to be a fashion blogger. Yeah, I know that sounds weird, but it's that I don't want to post about my personal life, like I wore this to go thrifting. I want to talk about the clothes, because that's all I've ever wanted to do. I love fashion, and I want to talk about clothes. I think the simpler way of saying that is, instead of being a person who posts online, I wanted to be a person that was more of a resource online. Or, you know, being an influencer, you have influence online. I'm not just telling you I ate a sandwich today, I'm showing you how to make the sandwich and how to be as cool as me while you eat the sandwich. Except with fashion. Fashion sandwich. Sounds really good right now. And my next thing was coming up with like the catchphrase or the tagline, who was I that I was going to start presenting to people. Actually, my tagline is still the same then as it is now, and that's, I'm your go-to girl for all things thrifty. So as you can guess, I wanted to build a thrifting resource. I may not always be a resource, but I still always try to be entertaining and bring some value into people's lives. And that goes with my YouTube videos as well. I always want to give you guys something awesome. So that was in 2015, and from then on, I became the outfit repeater, your go-to girl for all things thrifty. I read a lot of Pinterest to get ideas of how I should be navigating the world of blogging. I feel like there's always something I need to learn. So after I kind of established myself, and I worked on my content, then I worked on growing a community, and then comes everyone's favorite part, money, or you know, getting sponsorships. So I've spent about the last year and a half working on figuring out how to do sponsorships, how I want to do sponsorships, or just collaborations with brands. Sometimes, well, a lot of times, I mostly do unpaid things. It's more so for exposure, to gain more people, to build a bigger community. It's a whole thing. Even though I've spent like the last year and a half figuring out how to do sponsorships and how to actually get them, I've really only had a steady flow of sponsors for probably the last 6 months, which might be surprising. I've only been blogging since 2009, but I feel very comfortable at this point telling people that blogging is my income, which is actually really funny to tell people. You know, they ask you, what do you do? And I say, I'm a blogger. And then they always ask, do you make money doing that? Like, you just asked me what I did. Now, if I ask you what you did and you're like, I'm a doctor, I wouldn't say, you make money doing that? Because I just asked you what you did. Of course I was implying, what do you do for a living, for your job, for your income? That leads me to where I am now. I blog because it gives me a space to talk about fashion. I get to find other people who love thrifting and fashion just as much as me. Fashion blogging, especially as a thrifty fashion blogger, it may not seem popular, but I think that it's important to stay true to yourself and keep posting what you like, because eventually you'll find people that like what you're doing, and you'll start building out this like whole community, and then maybe you'll start influencing other people on the internet, and they will all start to like blogging. And that is how trends are started on the internet, by unpopular people doing unpopular things, and then somebody sees it and they're like, I want to do that too because that looks really unpopular. Okay, now the thing that I wanted to talk about was what benefits that blogging still has in a world where people just want things that are live, and they want micro, and they want now kind of things. Like, where does fashion blogging fit with that? First, being a resource, like I was talking about. Like, if you were an Instagram page, I see Instagram as being more kind of inspirational, but with blogging you can have long form content, and you can be a resource for people. They can go back to your page time after time, they can bookmark your page, they can follow your page. I mean, yeah, you can follow Instagram, but in a different way. Like, I don't think you can get Instagram posts to your email. That's weird, right? There's also like a search box so people can search through all of your content. You can't do that on Instagram. But I know that some people do use Instagram, they call it microblogging, where you could have an outfit post and then you post, some people do post really long enough to be a blog post kind of posts. But I feel like once it's been posted, it's done. But with blogging, it's there forever. Then like Google search gets a hold of it and you can become a viral sensation. I personally feel like blogging has more benefits to sponsors rather than Instagram. And it kind of goes along with that whole, on Instagram your content's there, but it moves really fast. While in blogging, it can be there forever, and that I would think looks really good to sponsors, that their links and their message is going to be there for a long time. Considering the people at the top of fashion blogging are people that just post their outfits with some words, it is totally possible to be that kind of blogger. But I feel like you have to have a really cool life to be that kind of person. I don't have a cool life, and I don't want to blog about my life. That's sad. Instagram is still a really great place to try microblogging, maybe if you don't want to do the whole blogging, because that seems like a lot of work, and it is. It's just, I think of Instagram as being a place where you just get likes and comments, and there's really no substance, while blogging has a lot of meat to it. Really, there are just pros and cons to both things, but hopefully this has helped you if you are someone who's thinking about starting a fashion blog. I would definitely recommend going to my blog, theoutfitrepeater.com. I've written a few resources about collaborations with different internet people, a whole post about naming your blog or your business. I just recently wrote one about how to write an outfit post. That one was really fun for me. I have another one coming up about how to find sponsors, which I think is going to be a cool post. And of course, outfit posts! I will have a lot of links down below, so definitely get yourself to the description box if anything I've said has sounded interesting to you. That about wraps it up. I gotta go write a blog post. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, because getting likes is really important to me. Not in like a superficial way, but in a YouTube really likes it when you get likes kind of way. Also subscribe if you haven't already. Again, subscribing really helps me because it shows YouTube that I am an influencer to be reckoned with. the internet just works in strange ways. The more you interact with these people, the better it looks to the internet. I don't know, as a whole thing. Illuminati. Hopefully I will see you in another video, and don't forget to be excellent to each other.